Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and also press the bell icon to get notifications of our latest videos.
TMM India, a brand and lifestyle magazine.
Is it better?
It's fine. It's perfect. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All good. All good. I'm sorry to give you a late night schedule. So.
Oh,
Oh,
I heard things about you.
oh my God. I hope all the good ones.
All good. All good.
Though that was quite a scary start, I must say.
A scary start?
Yeah. All good thing. I've heard a lot about you. It's quite a scary start for me.
It's all good scary.
Okay. Not a problem. So before I start, I want to really ask you one personal question. I know I'm not allowed to ask any personal questions, but one personal question if you allow me to.
Yeah.
I am a very, very strong Krishna follower. And the minute I heard that you have a Krishna flute reference, I was super excited to read the book now. And I always have that on my table. So
Oh, nice.
I really want to know, how are you inclined towards Krishna? Is there something personal there?
No. It's been for a long time. So, I grew up in Delhi. So, yeah. I grew up in Delhi and then moved to Canada and then to States. And I have been a follower of Krishna for a long time. I think there are certain aspects of it which really appeal to me. His whole personality and his whole multi-dimensional way of looking at things.
I totally agree with you on that one. So that was the only personal thing I wanted to ask. But seriously, the minute I read the synopsis and I felt that the way you have mentioned that the Krishna is going to play his flute and the tunes and the environment is all built up, I was really excited to know how that is going to play a very important role in the book. So that is my hook to read the book. So I'm definitely going to read it.
The way it is that the book, even if it's between two people, but actually the protagonist is actually talking to Krishna too at the same time.
Wow!
And because in his dialogue with her, his lady love, he has hesitancy. He has certain questions in mind. He has this desire to reach for the greater love in his life, and so he constantly talks to Krishna to guide his way, and so that's how Krishna comes into the book.
Wow, because I think in personal life I speak a lot to this Krishna that's right in front of me, so I think I can quite relate with your protagonist here. So all said, and on that note, I'll ask you my first question. So How do you define love? How is your definition of love? Is it something similar in the book or it's completely different?
Everyone has their own definition of love, and I'm no love guru. I mean, I just wrote a book on love and spirituality. But for me, love is a creative process. It's creating a new world with someone else, and that new world looks really beautiful, and you are in it as long as you find it beautiful. And if there is a creative process which keeps going, that beautiful life and world sustains itself. So in other words, there's always this saying of love at first sight, and I don't believe in it. I think you love the sight. There's no love at first sight. You love the sight, then you love the person, and then if you have a creative process with that person, you love that too. So for me, love is a creative process.
Wow. So on that note, my second question is really built up. So do you think flirt is a very synonym to love at first sight? And what's the difference between flirting and love?
Those are two totally different things, It's like, when I heard that question, it reminds me of my time in Los Angeles. I used to live in Los Angeles, lived there for about 3 years. And, you have the Pacific Ocean there and it's very cold. And, sometimes you try to dip your leg in it to see how cold it is or there's some warmth in it. And that's how I define flirt. You're just trying to put your leg to see if there is any warmth there. Love is actually diving into the ocean. So Love. I think the other way I would say is that flirt is it's about breadth, right? And love is about depth. So you can flirt with as many people as you want. It's all allowed. But if you really have true love, it's usually with one odd person in your life.
I totally agree with you. So on that note, what's your take on the new age love quotient now, with the youngsters having this swipe left, swipe right? What's your take on that?
Yeah, that's a nice way of saying it. Swipe left, swipe right. It's technology has changed the world, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think in terms of love life, it has changed that too. The thing is that again, I think technology, coming back to the breadth versus depth, technology can do a lot about breadth. It makes you contact and brings you in contact with a lot of people. It gives you a lot of breadth, but it cannot do anything about the depth. And unfortunately, we are all technology oriented nowadays, and youngsters are even more. And so therefore it's easy to get exposed to breadth side of things rather than the depth side of things. And that's why I thought, today love is a very loosely used word sometimes, I feel. And so in fact, it reminds me, I have a friend. She lives in Delhi, and she's in her 40s. And so she recently went on a matrimonial site, and then she was updating me after a few weeks, and she said, Rajiv, I got some interest from someone in Netherlands, and the other day someone from the US, and actually I'm talking to someone in Australia too. And she said, there are so many unlived lives that she has not lived. And it really struck me, because again, we are talking about breadth. She's it's beautiful in a way because she's coming in contact with so many people, but at the same time, I think love is about depth, it's not about breadth.
Okay, so on that note, give me a glimpse about your book and how did it happen? When did this idea of writing a book come to your mind?
Yeah, well, the book is about love and spirituality. It's about two people who come from different cultures, who accidentally meet, and then there is spiritual connect between the two, and there's deep connect between the two, and they talk about a lot of different things, and they travel together to a lot of different places. And there's a lot of creativity in their interaction, and so the book is written in a combination of prose and poetry, and it talks about the depth that love is. And so it's more of it's an easy read, about 150 pages, but as you go through it, it kind of hangs on to you, as my readers have told me. And what happened, Karthikeya, is that last year, when we were all exposed to COVID times, I thought something good has to come out of this. And so, after work, I would sit down and think about it. And I thought I'll give a pure treatment to love, in my opinion. So that's how the book came through.
Okay. So all thanks to COVID times, right?
Thanks to COVID times, yes.
Okay. So while your book deals with deep exchange of two lovers, and
yes,
when people are in a relationship, there are a lot of compromises, there are a lot of sacrifices that one needs to do. So what's your take on self-love? How important is self-love?
Yes, I think you have to love yourself before you can love someone else. But I think at the same time, self-love is about giving. It's not about receiving. I think, if you truly love someone and you have given it all, and even if the relationship doesn't work, your heart still grows and you can move on easily, as opposed to a situation where all you thought about what the relationship can bring you and what you could get out of it. And then if it doesn't work, then you are left with a lot of pain thinking about why it didn't work. And so I think this whole idea of self-love versus self-pain in a relationship context, it's about being selfless versus being selfish. And I think self-love is more about giving rather than receiving.
Wow. So if I have to understand from your side, if you could help me with 5 signs that can help us identify that, yes, I am in love with somebody. What are those 5 signs?
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows, right? Whether they're in love or not. I would hope so in today's world with technology. Again, coming back to what we discussed before. But
Yeah,
nowadays, yeah, sorry.
Sorry to cut you there, but 90% of the young gen are always confused about infatuations, attractions, and love. So if you could really tell us the real 5 signs, that would be interesting.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, nowadays, I think sometimes people don't even wait for signs to appear and they say, I love you. And then, in no time, they say, okay, I'm done with you. I'm moving on, right? So I think I can talk about a few things you can keep in mind before you say, I love you. I think there was a similar question that the Cosmopolitan magazine once asked me, and I actually wrote an article on it. And I think the 5 things, a few things that you can keep in mind before you say I love you, is one, you have to know that you can truly be yourself in that relationship. If you can't be truly yourself in that relationship, then that relationship is not meant for you. And I think every relationship is based on a deep respect, mutual respect, which should be sustainable. So you have got to find in that relationship with that person, what is it? You have mutual respect, and whether it's sustainable or not. And I think some of the other things is that sometimes the younger generation confuse between liking someone and loving someone. So you have to make that distinction. And then you don't have to say back that you love the other person as soon as you hear those words, even though it may dawn on you pleasantly, but you still have to make sure that your heart can confirm whether you love that person or not. I think these are some of the things you can keep in mind with the person before you say those things, or before you say to yourself that probably you love that other person. Don't be in a rush. Yeah.
Okay. So once you've identified you love somebody, there's also the other side of it. Hatred comes in parallel to when you love someone. So some easy, quick hacks to let love grow?
Yeah, you're right. Love and hate are 2 sides of the same coin. But I think hatred is a very strong emotion. I think if there is hatred, I think you should leave. I think if the relationship brings in you negative energy, or you feel that you are around negative energy, you should just leave. But if the emotion is less stronger than hatred, let's say you have a deep disappointment or disagreement or frustration, then I think there are a few things you can think about. Few things that I deploy myself is like, if you are into an argument, a very heated argument, and you don't have to just resolve that quickly. You can sleep over it, and once you sleep over it, you can talk the next day. You'll be much calmer. You'll be able to talk it much better. I think you should avoid anger as much as it is, because it's very destructive. I think the other thing is simply, say sorry if it's your fault. You shouldn't feel anything bad about saying sorry to the other person. And maybe find a creative process between the two of you. Do something new, do something spontaneous, so that your mind gets away from any other negative feeling you have, and kind of rejuvenate yourself. Those are the kind of things I would deploy.
Wow. So on that note, you've given me a lot of in-depth knowledge of what love is, hatred, the combination. You've given me a glimpse about the book. You've given me how 2 people are spiritually connected and they want to be together. So much that you've given me for the audiences out there to read the book. One last message that you would like my audiences to know as to why and how they can go and access the book.
Yes, the book is called Conversations with My Love, and it's available on Amazon. I just launched it 3 months back, so I've kept it only on Amazon right now. It's available in Kindle. So either you have a Kindle or you have a Kindle app on your phone or your iPad or your computer, you can read it. And that's how you can access it.
Sure. So I'm sure my audiences out there are definitely going to have a glimpse of the book. They're going to download, they're going to read it. Guys, it's a book that you must read. It's his debut novel, and I'm sure it's going to be a brilliant one. And on that note, I have a last question. Are you going to plan another book soon?
Let's see. I'm very busy in my work, but at the same time, I have this passion about expressing myself. And, love and spirituality are 2 deep emotions that I usually write on. I've got very encouraging reviews of the book. I've had a lot of people who love the book. So it has been very encouraging. And if there's another topic that might strike me, and if I'm passionate about it, I'll definitely write.
Wow.
As I mean, some people have suggested write a sequel. So let's see.
That would be great. And I'm definitely going to read this. I told you my reasons of reading it. So
Yes,
I,
you won't be.
I connect with Krishna. Krishna plays a lot of importance in the character. The flutes are there. So of course, I am definitely going to read this, and I'm going to send you feedback very soon.
That would be awesome.
So if you enjoyed this episode with Rajiv Kapoor, do like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. There are more interviews coming up on TMM India.
TMM India, a brand and lifestyle magazine.